Wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, there is joy, there is peace beyond measure. I welcome you to Conversations at Midnight. In this past week, I did Wednesday worship in the wild because God said to go, my child. Welcome. What's up, everybody? So I wanted to get on my phone very briefly and just check in because today was supposed to be Worship Wednesday, but I wanted to let you guys know why I'm not posting for Worship Wednesday, and it's because I'm actually in a cabin in the woods. So basically, I am asking and requesting some really hard questions to God right now in this particular season of my life, and it's really important for me to get them some answers that I need. And when I was reflecting and really meditating on life, where it stands right now, and the last couple of months I've been through hell and back, and literally God found me in the darkest of darkest places, and while I'm getting out and I'm going through and I'm trying to get better, I'm really now starting to search for some answers to the questions that I have regarding my life. What I'm talking about is purpose. I've always been the kind of person where my purpose is really important to me. I've never known what I'm supposed to be doing in life. I've never known that. And I'm a person that's really good at a lot of different things. I'm good at content creating and editing. I'm good at public relations, marketing. Of course, you guys know that I can also sing. I write books. I do a lot of in the 9 to 5 sector, business sector. I do operations management. I do event planning. I do a plethora of things. Okay, God has blessed me with so many different gifts, but I never actually knew my purpose. And without going into a whole bunch of detail, we'll break it down on our segment, type of conversation about, but I never really knew my purpose. And then life came and it rocked me this past year, where my mom had got sick, but then also I lost my job, my finances were hit, I was going through a lot with relationships and dating. It was so many things going on, and I hit complete rock bottom. I hit rock bottom. But it was in that place that God came to me when I thought, I never believe that God actually abandons me. I just don't believe that in my heart, because I believe in the word when it says he's near to the brokenhearted. But it was just different. I just felt so hopeless where I was in that dark place. I felt so hopeless, and I was leaning on things that don't have any sustainability. I was leaning on things that don't have any kind of a source. And climbing out of that, God brought me to a couple of different sermons that found me in that dark place, and God used those preachers as a vessel to get to me. And I heard TD Jakes, his sermon series on faith, and I realized that the reason why I couldn't make it out of the dark place was because I wasn't trusting in God to get me out of there. And in my mind, I allowed the devil to wreak havoc in my mind, and it was keeping me in that valley. And it was like God spoke to me through that sermon, and it was like, like, you can't get out of this valley because you're leaning on yourself. And so I took that moment. This is maybe about 2.5 months ago, and I was drinking every day. I was so depressed. I was just sad. Everything with my mom getting sick and the doctor saying she wasn't going to live, and I was really alone, didn't have any money. My landlord was hitting me up for the rent, and I'm just like, I'm tired. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of going. I might die here. Like, I'm not going to commit suicide or anything, but I'm like, I don't know if I can make it out of this. And when I heard that sermon, TD Jakes was saying, by me not leaning into my faith and believing who God is and believing in his promises, I'm basically working against the faithfulness of God, and I'm leaning so much into fear, and I'm not submitting my problem over to God, that I'm not allowing him to actually do his wondering working powers. So TD Jakes was saying, you might as well, with your kind of fear and anxiety and stress that you have over your circumstance and all of that, you might as well move to Chicago or a dangerous area, leave your door open, and just invite the devil to come in. And I heard that message. I looked around my apartment, and then God came to me and he said, clean up your apartment. Because my apartment was disgusting. Again, I was drinking all the time. I had dishes piled up. It was a lot going on. And God said, go to the store, get some cleaner, and clean my entire apartment up. I watched both of the episodes, about 4 hours in between both of the sermons on faith. And then God said to sing, and I sang. Then God said to share it, and I shared it. And through me singing and sharing it, my heart began to heal. And it was like I was ministering to myself, and God was working through me through that session of ministry and worship and singing into his name, that he came in and he changed my heart, and he took my burden and he took my sadness. And it's like the Samaritan woman at the well, he gave me joy. When I was reading up on that, I never knew exactly what God did for her, what Jesus did for her, but I was looking at it again, and I said, oh, Jesus took away her sorrow and turned it into joy. That's what he did for her. And for the first time in my life, once God found me in that valley when I was, again, leaning on alcohol and drinking, I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia. My mind wasn't sound. I was depressed. I wasn't happy. Again, I don't know my purposes. All these things are going wrong. And God found me in that valley, and he used my gift to heal me. And now I'm trying to get back 100%, and part of me doing that is being obedient and listening to God the same way he talked to me in my kitchen when he said to clean, the same way he said now to sing, the same way he said now to sing and share it. And I'm now in the space in my life, since that happened, I've been so diligent and focused on learning who God is. I've been a Christian all my life, grew up in the church, Kojic, Pentecostal all my life. But now I'm actually it's like I knew who God was, but I didn't know who he was, if that makes sense. It's like I knew who he was, I believed in God, but it's like now I'm actually researching and reading who he is. Because guys, I don't really know the Bible like that. I know a couple scriptures here and there, but I really don't know it. So I'm actually reading this book. It's called The Story, and it's an easy format to read the Bible, because I can't do the ye out thou shall. I can't do that. This is in book format, and I'm reading the Bible. I do Bible study. I'm constantly reading my word. Like literally, people say they do that. I'm literally reading it, trying to interpret it, trying to understand it, because you have to know who God is, because God keeps his promises. But if you don't know his word, then how do you know what he said, and how do you know what he promised? So I'm reading it for the first time, understanding who God is, what his promises are, so that I can combat the enemy and I can actually live in the world and fight through different circumstances and different trials. So I'm listening to what God wants me to do. I'm reading my word. We know that God is his word, and I want to know who he is. I'm seeking him more diligently, and I'm looking for answers. And I don't want to be, an Israelite. I'm asking for this, asking for that. But I'm looking for answers as far as what is my purpose? Where does God want me to be? How does he want to use me? And I'm currently working through that whole process of not being afraid to go wherever God tells me to go. It's like the story with Abraham and how God told him to go, and he just went. He didn't know where he was going. I'm working through that. But that's a perfect segue, because that's the reason why I'm actually where I'm at. I'm going to let you guys know where I am. I'm going to give you a quick preview of where I am currently, because God told me after, the last couple of months, me going through my entire story, me seeking out God like never before, me reading my word like never before, trying to get out of Genesis, because I've been in Genesis all my life. I was telling God, like, God, I need answers, and I need to know where you want me to go. I know that not sometimes, but in the Bible, when I'm reading Genesis, God, he's on kingdom time, and kingdom time isn't the same as earthly time. And so I have to become comfortable with knowing that in the meantime, this is a waiting season. I have to cultivate my gifts and use my gifts and be ready. So when God says to go, and when he says it is done, I'm ready for all that he has for me. So I think I'm getting that revelation of God, just like it's the waiting time and it's the cultivation season. But God told me, if you want some answers, you're going to have to get away. And for some reason, I kept getting this thought in my mind. And I realized in Genesis, that's how God will speak to us. When you have that persistent, like, intuition thought, like, and it is good, it's God talking to you. And God said, go to the wilderness. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but God told me, go to the wilderness, because there you'll find me. There you'll find the answers that you're looking for. There you'll get the answers to what is your purpose, what should you do next, where do I want you in the kingdom, how do I want to use you. So God was telling me, go to the wilderness. And I'm like, the wilderness? Like, I'm not an outdoorsy person at all. Okay, I'm not outdoorsy. I don't like insects. I'm terrified of insects. But God told me, go to the wilderness. So I came across this thing. It's called Getaway. And beautiful cabins. It's a beautiful estate in the woods. And it has a cabin. It's equipped with air conditioning and heat, pots and pans. I have a campsite. And there's a lot of different path walks that you can take. But basically, I looked it up and I reserved it for 2 days, where I can specifically come here to be alone with God and to offer this as a sacrifice and just an offering to be alone with him. Like, I'm being intentional and vocalizing it through my mouth. God, this time is for you. I'm not trying to be on my phone like that. When I got here last night, I was watching some TV, just settling in. But today, no TV, no outside, secular world. It's just my Bible, my word. And I'm going to go out into nature where I can just talk outwardly to God and just worship him. Because he's already given me some revelations. I feel like he's just like, this is the answers that you want, all things are working together for good. And I kind of didn't want that answer, because I'm like, I already know that scripture, but it doesn't mean that it's not true. God is literally telling me that, like, everything is working together for good. Everything's not going to happen with a snap of your finger, but it's going to work out. You just have to wait, and you have to continue to do. You have to continue to follow, and then I will make everything known in its proper time. And so, yeah, I came to this cabin and I'm just praying like never before. And I was telling my family that this is where I needed to go. And I didn't really want to tell them, because everybody doesn't understand certain things. Everybody doesn't understand when God talks to you. Sometimes when God tells you to do something, it might sound so crazy. Other people won't understand. And at first, my family, they didn't understand. My stepfather understood, but my sister and my mom were like, what? And I'm like, God told me to go. He said to go to the wilderness. And I was wondering why God kept saying that. Why do I have to go to the wild? Why? I was doing some research, and it said because in nature, that's where God's presence is most felt, because it is a reminder of who he is, that he is. He just is. He's in the wind. He's in the trees. He is nature. And so I was wondering that, and this was like, when you can cut yourself off and sacrifice the worldly things, worldly objects, materialistic things, you can feel closer to God. Because I think about Jesus and his ministry. I think about Jesus when we were in BC, and how Jesus was always in the wilderness. He was always by himself. And I believe that's why God's saying, you can't get the answers from me that you want and you need at home. You can only do it when you're sacrificing your comfort and your home and you're out with me. So I took our family dog, and yeah, I'm in the wilderness, and I know that for such a time as this, I need to be here. And I know that is God who spoke to me, because there's another thing I'm doing at the end of this month, which is in relation to me just honing in and locking in with God and asking him these deep questions. There's a retreat I'm going to, and it's held by a college friend of mine who's really tapped in and has a great relationship with God, beautiful woman of God. And I never do things like this, okay? I never do vacations like this. My vacations are always like, I'm gonna go to an island, I'm gonna go party a little bit, whatever. But again, I'm in a different space in my life right now where I'm chasing God like never before. So I wanted to go to this retreat at the end of the month, and it's like we're at that retreat, we're gonna be praying a lot. lot, seeking God, really just meditating and fasting on his word, and just being again secluded and getting some information from God. And with that retreat, I'm gonna have to fly into Florida, so I had to buy a plane ticket, and that plane ticket was like $400, and then I had to pay for this cabin, which was expensive. It was about $900 to $1,100, $900 to $1,100, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can keep spending all this money because I'm not working right now, and I'm like stressed out, like, okay, do I want to spend this money to go on in the wilderness, and then I want to go at the end of the month to go to this retreat because God's telling me that I need to do both. God literally said do both. And I'm like, but I don't want to spend all this money because, I don't have like a job, and I want to be mindful of the money that I have going out. But God said, go to both. That's it. He didn't say nothing else. Go to both. So I wrote my college friend and I said, hey, I asked her for information about the retreat. And she said she gave me the information, and I was like, okay. I was like, I'm just gonna buy my flight and I'll get back to you. So I bought my flight, got back to her, sent her my itinerary. She didn't get back to me, and I was waiting for her to return my messages because I wanted to I wanted to get my ticket. And I know she does have the website up where I can go get the ticket, but I didn't want to buy it without first contacting her. Like, something is, and again, God said, don't buy it yet. Wait to hear back from her, send her your flight itinerary, and then take it from there. So that same time, I had still going back and forth about doing my cabin in the woods, because I'm like, all right, I have to buy my flight, then I have to buy this ticket for the retreat ticket. It's we're gonna be like in a secluded house. It's gonna be a beautiful estate. It has a private chef. It's gonna be pampering, certain things like that. In addition to that, there's different workshops, and it's $350. But I'm like, so I have to buy the flight, which is $400. The ticket to the retreat is $350. This is about $1,100. This is a lot of money going out. Like, what am I gonna do? So 2 days go by. I didn't hear from her yet, and God said, buy the ticket and get to the wilderness to be alone with me. Go to the wilderness, go to the wild, go to this cabin. So I'm like, all right, God, all right. I rented out my cabin. I reserved it, and I was like, well, I bought my plane ticket, so I'm in Florida. Made that commitment. Basically, that's gonna be $350 that I'm waiting to hear back from her on. Then I also have this cabin I spent $900 something on. The moment I bought this cabin and I was obedient to what God told me to do, he said to come here, I get an inbox from my college friend who's running the retreat, and she said, hey, your messages were not going through. Literally, it was within 2 minutes. She said my messages weren't going through to her, and she said that she got my message and she got my itinerary for my flight. She's so happy to have me, and she said that God told her not to charge anyone else for this retreat and to be obedient to his word by letting anybody come at this point and just asking them that they sow a seed, any dollar amount. I was stressed out about spending all this other money because I spent $900 something on this cabin because God told me to be here. Then in the same breath, when I bought my ticket, and because I already committed to the end of the month, so I was obedient and buying my ticket to go to Florida, because this retreat is where God wants me to be around other women of God, like-minded individuals, to get something from him. Then to invest in this cabin because this is specifically for him. This is my sacrifice for him. Because I was obedient. I bought my plane ticket, said I'm going to go to Florida. I'm going to trust in the Lord. I'm going to come to the wilderness because I'm going to be obedient to what his commandment is telling me to do. He commanded me to do something, I'm going to do it. And then within 2 seconds, God said, you're not going to be paying for anything for that retreat. My mind was floored, and every time God reveals himself, he never really revealed himself like that to me before. But I'm realizing the reason why he is revealing himself to me now is because now I have a softened heart, and I'm open to listening to where he wants me to go and what he wants me to do. If you're not open, if your heart is hardened, God's not gonna be able to speak to you. He's not gonna be able to come through on your behalf. And so that was one of the biggest tests. I'm like, yeah, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him. He will direct your path. It's like, if I know that something in my spirit, like God in my spirit is telling me to go, book the cabin, go to the cabin, dedicate this time, which I'm doing, dedicate this time to reading your word, to praying diligently, to worship. I woke this morning worshiping, singing. I started breaking down, going into worship and just being all about God. Everything else, and you're not doing it because everything else will be added. It's just God will bless things that are good. God will bless the faithfulness. He'll bless you because you are faithful. And the fact that he just showed himself so great, he is Yahweh. The fact that he showed himself so great, I was just in awe. Like, okay, God, so because I was obedient and because I listened to you and you told me to come to the wilderness, you told me to see where you are in nature and who you are in nature, and I was obedient to that you paid for this other trip. So without further ado, I want to show you guys this beautiful cabin, and I'll show you the video that I took yesterday, some of the music I was playing. You'll see the clips. But yeah, please drop a comment down below if you can relate to any of the other things. Where are you in your season with God right now, with your walk? Is God telling you to go somewhere that you're afraid to go? Let me know. And again, I apologize for Wednesday worship, but yeah, I have to be obedient, and this is where I have to be right now. So I'll see you guys back here next week. Enjoy the property. I just wanted to give my quick thoughts because I'm waking up and just had some coffee. Me and the dog are pretty tired from the last 2 days, but I really just had such a great time. I had an amazing time the last 2 days, and the thing that I came here to get, which is just more clarity and insight and peace from God, I got some answers that I've been looking for. And I feel good. I feel well rested. I feel relaxed. And I'm not ready to go home, but I know that I have to go home. And I just hope that I don't lose this serenity that I have. Me and Silas had a great time yesterday. We were outside for a while. We got outside like at 1 o'clock. We didn't go back inside until like 6:15. I kept that dog out there, and look, now he knocked out. So he's not waking up. But yeah, we stayed outside for a couple of hours. I actually learned how to do a fire. I grilled using like a wood fire oven. Like literally, I cooked on wood. Okay, I cooked in a fire pit, and we had steak, me and him, and we went for a little walk. I just listened to worship music and just stared at the open trees and just felt utter peace. I felt great. And so now I guess we have to go home. I'm gonna get ready for the day. Just had some coffee. It's about 10 o'clock. I'm about to throw my clothes on for the day and go outside to get the fire started and make our breakfast on the fire pit. Probably make like a lot of bacon, cut some bananas, have some strawberries, raspberries, maybe make another cup of coffee, and then we're gonna go for a walk, and then we're gonna head out after that. So yeah, that's what we're doing for today. And just want to encourage anybody else who is like feeling really lost, and anyone who needs answers. Sometimes God wants you to get away and to recenter and to focus on Him, the thing that matters, the one who matters, and He'll provide you with peace, with joy, anything that you're looking for. And that's what I got, and I had a great time just cooking, eating good food, and just being in the wilderness, being in the wild, and just letting go of all the materialistic crap that we have at home, and just enjoying the little small things. So yeah, I'm signing off, and I'm going to enjoy my last couple of hours here because checkout is at 1:30. So I hope you enjoyed a little sneak peek into my solitude and this space that I have enjoyed for the last 2 days. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Yahweh, so we lift you high. Yahweh, and we lift you high. Yahweh.